Hello everyone, welcome to the Tim Booker channel. Wishing you a pleasant listening experience. Today, the book I'm interpreting for you is called Deluxe. When it comes to luxury goods, what's your initial reaction? Is it those haughty items on the shelves with five-figure price tags? Or perhaps a group of European craftsmen, sporting eyeglasses and carrying leather rulers, meticulously crafting timeless pieces, stitch by stitch, for centuries? Or is it the dazzling fashion choices of celebrities, trendsetters, and the wealthy elite that blind us on the red carpet and runway? For many, the definition of luxury seems to revolve around being exceptionally high-end and expensive. However, the book, Deluxe, I'm discussing with you today will provide you with a new perspective on luxury. The author of this book, Dana Thomas, is a seasoned cultural and fashion writer. Over the years, he has reported on fashion for publications like The Washington Post, Newsweek, and Time magazine's Paris Bureau, as well as contributing to well-known media outlets like The New Yorker, The New York Times, and Fashion Bash. Dana Thomas has conducted in-depth observations and research on the entire fashion industry. His book, Deluxe, published for over a decade, has been regarded as a must-read classic by fashion elites and powerhouses. He doesn't just give you a list of celebrity-endorsed items or must-buy recommendations. On one hand, he narrates the history of luxury goods transitioning from royal palaces to the masses. On the other hand, the author takes us behind the scenes, delving into fashion shows and luxury item factories, revealing untold stories and even some scandals. That's why this book is often referred to as the first exposé of the dark side of the luxury industry. Now, let's start by exploring the two phases of luxury development, its aristocratization and democratization, as we uncover the secrets of luxury. First, let's take a look at the birth stage of luxury goods. We'll trace the history of luxury goods in this period. The typical characteristic of this time is aristocratization. It is generally believed that the center for the creation and production of luxury brands was the ancient European royal courts, especially the extravagant French court. Over 300 years ago, during the height of its power, France was the creator of the fashion industry. King Louis XIV had a particular fondness for beautiful clothing, and his daily dressing routine was nothing short of a grand court fashion show. Louis XV had a special passion for perfumes, even releasing doves scented with fragrances to fly around the palace, leaving a trail of exquisite scents with each flap of their wings. By the time of Louis XVI, the king himself was engaged in craftsmanship. His initial inspiration came from the French philosopher Rousseau, who advocated for a naturalistic educational philosophy, believing that everyone should learn a craft in their lifetime. Consequently, Louis XVI became more focused on craftsmanship than state affairs and spent his days immersed in manual work. This emphasis on craftsmanship led to a deep appreciation for skilled artisans within the royal courts. Against this backdrop, luxury brands with worldwide acclaim were born. Today, we often discuss how Louis Vuitton, Hermès, and Cartier were founded by artisans in the 18th and 19th centuries who crafted exquisite handmade products for the royalty. These artisans took great pride in their craftsmanship and strived for perfection. They would be ashamed to produce anything of inferior quality. Among these renowned French luxury brands, Louis Vuitton stands out. Louis Vuitton was born in 1821 into a family of farmers and woodworkers. At the age of 14, he embarked on a 2-year journey on foot to Paris, where he became an apprentice at a luggage workshop. At that time, the widespread use of steam engines made train travel the preferred mode of transportation for the French aristocracy. People would embark on journeys lasting several months, often accompanied by as many as 50 travel trunks. However, the old-style travel trunks had a semi-spherical lid and a simple structure. They were prone to falling over on trains or wrinkling clothes. Clever Louis Vuitton used his craftsmanship to design flat-top travel trunks, similar to the square ones we use today, and incorporated a feature for packing dresses. The typical attire of European nobility had wide-hemmed gowns with numerous layers, which were incredibly challenging to arrange. Louis Vuitton's luggage was specifically designed to accommodate this aristocratic clothing, and this innovation quickly gained popularity among the upper echelons of Parisian society. It became the preferred choice for aristocrats traveling. Louis Vuitton became the personal luggage maker for Empress Eugénie, the wife of Napoleon III, responsible for packing her dresses and creating luggage. In 1869, Empress Eugénie embarked on a trip to Egypt with 62 Louis Vuitton trunks, sparking imitation by royal families across Europe and around the world. the Louis Vuitton brand soared to international prominence. However, despite being a source of pride for French luxury, Louis Vuitton also has a history of shame that is rarely discussed. In 1940, Nazi Germany invaded Paris, leading many luxury stores, including Chanel, to close their doors temporarily and take refuge. The German army made 14 attempts to dismantle France's luxury goods industry, with the goal of relocating these prestigious brands to Germany and making Berlin the new fashion capital. However, the French Association of Haute Couture was resolute and defiant, declaring that they could be forced to do anything but would never relocate their high-fashion boutiques from Paris. They firmly believed that haute couture would cease to be haute couture if it left Paris. Consequently, most French luxury brands were shut down by the Nazis, leaving only one, Louis Vuitton. Not only did Louis Vuitton establish a factory to produce propaganda materials for the government, but he also mass-produced puppets for the Nazi regime, including statues of generals. As a reward for the loyalty of the Vuitton family to the Nazi regime, they were awarded medals. After World War II, the luxury industry had to recover from challenges like material shortages and a dispersed workforce. However, the war had profoundly changed the world. The old aristocracy had declined, and the post-war world erased class distinctions. The disposable income of the general population experienced unprecedented growth. The traditional luxury industry, which previously catered solely to the wealthy elite, struggled to survive and expand. High-end custom-made clothing in France, for example, had over 20,000 clients in 1943, but by 1970, that number had dwindled to 2,000, and by 1990, only around 200 remained. Simultaneously, the level of mechanized production rapidly improved, and labor costs surged. Sustaining traditional artisanal production was nearly impossible. Luxury goods could no longer adopt the exclusive and haughty approach they once did. They willingly set aside their aristocratic roots and transitioned towards democratization, advocating for luxury that everyone could attain. Thus, luxury goods launched a three-pronged attack on the mass consumer market. The first step was celebrity endorsements, leveraging the popularity of celebrities to promote their brands. In today's context, celebrities and luxury goods naturally go hand in hand. However, early luxury brands did not initially consider celebrities significant. For instance, Christian Dior, the founder of Dior, believed that true nobility in aesthetics surpassed the performances on stage and screen. He was unwilling to display his creations in a crass manner on the big screen. The relationship between the entire Paris haute couture industry and Hollywood was chilly in the past. Only Giorgio Armani recognized the potential of using celebrities as brand ambassadors. He grasped the opportunity to collaborate with Audrey Hepburn, nearly exclusively dressing her in 80% of her films and personal life. Among Hepburn's iconic fashion moments were the little black dress in Breakfast at Tiffany's, and the white-based black embroidered evening gown in Sabrina. Armani even convinced Hepburn to shoot an advertisement for a fragrance called Armani, marking the first time a movie star's face was used to promote a perfume. Hepburn generously allowed Armani to use her name, and this collaboration helped elevate Armani from a small high-end boutique to one of the first luxury brands with global recognition and immense commercial success. Subsequently, the practice of celebrity endorsements was extensively copied, with Armani leading the way. Armani's influence even reached the point where the Oscars' red carpet was jokingly referred to as the Armani Awards, as nearly all the gowns worn by stars originated from Armani. The ability of celebrities to influence consumer choices was indeed extraordinary. When Madonna wore Gucci fashion to the MTV Awards ceremony, Gucci's revenue skyrocketed. When Princess Diana was photographed with a Dior bag, the same bag sold 100,000 units that year, increasing Dior's global revenue by 20%. To secure celebrity endorsements and have their products showcased on the red carpet, luxury brands often proactively provide celebrities with large gift packages, commonly referred to as swag. The Oscars are a prime example of this phenomenon, with award presenters receiving piles of free gifts such as designer watches, portable projectors, and more, with values reaching tens of thousands of dollars. The IRS even stepped in to impose fines on these practices. Stylists for celebrities also engage in bribery, requesting payments from luxury brands for services like image enhancement or wardrobe choices. In exchange, the celebrity might wear the brand's clothing on the red carpet when accepting awards. Celebrities themselves are not immune to seeking bribes, from clothing and shoes to jewelry and vouchers, even direct monetary transfers to their bank accounts. The more a brand offers, the more likely the celebrity is to wear their products. At the 2005 Golden Globe Awards, 2 celebrities switched from wearing Harry Winston jewelry to Chopard earrings at the last minute. As part of the deal, they received a 6-figure check along with the earrings. This practice has become a norm in Hollywood. Focusing solely on Hollywood can cater to Western consumers, but luxury brands aimed for global expansion. Their next move was to stake their claim in markets worldwide. In the 1960s and 1970s, Japan experienced a booming economy, giving rise to a substantial middle-class population with aspirations for a more luxurious and glamorous lifestyle. Luxury brands quickly became a means for these individuals to define their status. In one survey, 85% of Japanese respondents identified themselves as middle class, and owning a conspicuous luxury item with a visible logo was seen as essential to showcase their social status. In 2006, half of all luxury goods worldwide were sold to the Japanese, with 40% of Japanese owning a Louis Vuitton product. For women, this statistic rose to 92%. However, the limited availability of luxury resources in Japan prompted middlemen to travel to Europe to purchase luxury products at retail prices, later selling them in Tokyo's malls at 2 to 4 times the purchase price. This enthusiastic Japanese consumer base led luxury brands to recognize the immense potential of emerging markets. In 1978, Louis Vuitton opened 6 stores simultaneously in Tokyo and Osaka, marking the first step of luxury brands expanding globally. To balance the market, Louis Vuitton implemented a flexible pricing system, reducing prices in Japan by half. The result, the 6 stores generated $5.8 million in sales in their first year, stunning the industry. While these high-end women's fashion items constituted only 5% of Louis Vuitton's sales, they played a crucial role in drawing attention to the brand, a strategy Louis Vuitton's Bernard Arnault understood well. Arnault, often likened to a Napoleonic figure in the luxury industry, transformed luxury brands from the ground up during his 30 years at the helm of the LVMH group. His famous quote, "Only the exceptional can make money in the luxury business," reflects his aggressive acquisition strategy. Under his leadership, LVMH acquired 62 companies, earning him a spot as the 4th richest person in the world according to Forbes in 2019, following only Bezos, Gates, and Buffett. In his quest for consolidation, Arnault made controversial moves, like bringing in a young Marc Jacobs to create a high-end women's clothing line for Louis Vuitton, which included a collection that resembled tattered clothes, aptly named Trash Chic. Despite Louis Vuitton's reputation for refinement, Arnault's aim was to grab headlines. Dior's collection inspired by homeless people and Trash Chic were seen as unconventional moves in the luxury fashion industry at the time, drawing criticism and prompting some traditional clientele to switch to more conventional brands like Chanel. However, the new generation of customers flocked to LVMH-owned brand stores, leading to a doubling or tripling of sales for perfumes and accessories. A notable American socialite once said, "Everything is sold to the masses." You walk into an airport, buy an affordable pair of Dior sunglasses, and you feel a touch of luxury. Transforming traditional brand styles goes far beyond just Louis Vuitton and Dior. For instance, in 1995, Gucci also discarded its formal aristocratic image and re-established a more magical and sensual style. Many fashion editors and retailers said, "This is great, but it's not Gucci." But what does it matter? The public bought into it. Gucci's revenue jumped from $264 million in 1994 to over $880 million in 1996, more than tripling. At this point, luxury had completed its transformation from exclusivity to mass appeal. However, the author believes that along with this transformation, the original purpose of luxury goods, which was to create exquisite works of art, had shifted towards profit-making. Especially once luxury brands formed conglomerates, they needed to raise capital through stock offerings. Shareholders cared little for craftsmanship, they were concerned with maximizing profits. Next, let's delve into 2 types of luxury goods production to see how they generate high profits. The first category is perfumes. Since luxury has become more accessible to the masses, the primary concern is affordability. Perfume is the perfect example of low-cost luxury goods. Ordinary consumers may not afford a $200,000 custom-made dress, but they can easily buy a $65 bottle of perfume, allowing them to indulge in a touch of luxury. Creating perfumes is a lucrative business, but why are there such high profits in this low-priced luxury category? Firstly, many luxury brands do not manufacture and sell their own branded perfumes due to the high costs involved. Brands like Armani, CK, Giorgio Armani, and Marc Jacobs license their names to companies that specialize in daily use or cosmetic products, such as cleaning companies. In essence, many brand perfumes are just branded products. However, consumers may not mind, as at least these branded perfumes offer a touch of luxury. As the advertising slogans go, a certain perfume can make you feel uniquely different, whether it's described as sexy as high heels or capable of enveloping you in the scent of love. Luxurification is a process of losing high-end and personalized characteristics. As the author puts it, all perfume designs are cookie-cutter, they are intended to be popular. Designers begin with a formula like, this perfume should be feminine, making women appear capable yet gentle. It should suit both the Western and Asian markets. It should be modern but also classic. It should appeal to young and old women alike. In reality, all these perfumes are quite similar in both design and production. They are mass-produced to be uniform. In the perfume industry today, only 10% of ingredients are natural, with the remaining 90% being synthetic chemicals. Natural ingredients, especially high-quality ones like jasmine for Chanel No. 5, are expensive and often come from specific regions. Chanel No. 5 requires jasmine flowers from the fields of Grasse in southern France. Using jasmine from elsewhere would alter the perfume scent, but natural ingredients are too costly. Only top-tier brands like Chanel and Hermès can afford to use natural ingredients. In addition to perfume itself, packaging costs also contribute to expenses. While the liquid perfume comprises only 3% of the total cost, packaging can account for 10%. Luxury brands often push packaging companies to cut costs. For example, they may reduce the size of the box, trim the bottle's edges, use 4-color printing instead of 12, or eliminate the protective recesses inside the box. Once the perfume is packaged and ready for sale, marketing campaigns, such as mall demonstrations and promotions, may exaggerate the product's characteristics, presenting it as having different notes in its scent profile. In reality, when you smell a perfume, you experience all its scents at once, not in separate notes. Marketing often creates distinctions that aren't truly there. Regarding gender-specific perfumes, there isn't much difference between men's and women's fragrances. These distinctions are marketing gimmicks rather than inherent in the scent itself. In practice, it is all about market sales strategies. Alright, now that we've covered entry-level perfumes, let's take a look at higher-end luxury goods that many people can't resist, handbags. Handbags are the engine of the luxury industry. Unlike perfumes, they are tangible, something you can see at a glance. People are particularly fascinated by handbags with conspicuous logos, as they offer the opportunity to flaunt a brand and display one's identity. The profit margins in luxury goods are astonishing, often 10 to 12 times the production cost, with Louis Vuitton achieving a margin of 13 times. Luxury handbag brands like to tell stories of their legendary history and traditional craftsmanship, adding an aura of luxury lineage to their products. However, the author's investigation found that brands that continue pure handcrafting are increasingly rare. One of the few exceptions is Hermès, where each bag is crafted by a single worker from start to finish, a slow process. Crafting a medium-sized Birkin or Kelly bag takes 15 to 16 hours, while larger bags may require 25 to 30 hours. Witnessing the creation of an Hermès bag, the author came to understand what luxury once meant, realizing that today's luxury is more concerned with production efficiency. For instance, Louis Vuitton uses an assembly line approach, where a batch of 20 bags can be produced at a time. Gucci, on the other hand, doesn't require craftsmen to study the patterns of leather, as metal stamping machines can cut them precisely. Starting in 1995, all of Gucci's leather goods were computer-designed. From 1994 to 1998, the leather goods output increased from 640,000 items per year to 2.4 million items, a 227% increase. Since they operate on assembly lines, you might expect these bags to be sold at lower prices, but that's not the case. The pricing is all about maintaining the brand's legendary status. Regardless of how high daily production in the factory is, the story remains the same. It's about craftsmen from a century ago, spending hundreds of hours on a single bag. But the bigger secret is that luxury conceals its origin. While high-end luxury bags promote themselves as crafted by artisans in France and Italy, the reality is quite different. Most of these bags are genuinely made in China, mostly in Dongguan, Guangdong. The author personally explored a factory in Guangdong, promising not to disclose the brand's name to gain access. Each brand forces its manufacturers to sign non-disclosure agreements prohibiting them from revealing that their products are made in China. Manufacturers simultaneously produce for multiple brands. When brand representatives visit the factories, they are not allowed to wander but are taken directly to the workshops responsible for their products. In an era of luxury conglomerates, bundling brands together for production in the same factory makes cost saving even easier. This means that when you go shopping and buy bags from 8 different brands, you might ultimately find out they are from the same group and possibly made by the same group of workers. As early as 2006, China was producing millions of luxury bags annually, and consumers were largely unaware of this. Few brands admit to this practice. For example, LVMH CEO Bernard Arnault claimed in 2004 that only European artisans knew how to make luxury. Yet, the next year, one of his brands, Celine, began production in China. In 2005, while Prada still claimed that all of its products were made in Italy, their leather goods had been produced in China for at least 6 months. Some brands complete all stages of bag production in China and add handles in Italy or France. This way, they can legitimately label the bags as made in Italy or made in France, even though most of the work was done in China. It's not just China, luxury goods are manufactured in factories worldwide, not for cost saving but for profit maximization. For example, in 2004, Valentino was making suits in Egypt where workers earned only 88 cents per hour. In Italy, workers earned $18.63 per hour. When these high-end suits reached Italy, the "Made in Egypt" label was removed and replaced with "Made in Italy." Labor costs in Vietnam and Cambodia were 25% to 30% lower than in China. Workers there earned only $60 per month. Behind the glamour of luxury products lies a stark reality of sweatshop labor. Prada's heir, Miuccia Prada, once said, "Today it is very easy to be chic, it's not easy to be elegant." Luxury is about making yourself happy, not dressing up for others. In the end, this book's message is clear: luxury often masks the truth, and true luxury is a matter of personal enjoyment rather than a facade for others. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.